You know, it's not like I don't have the FJ here, which actually comes in real handy at times like this. And now that I finally stopped being lazy and washed it this morning, I don't feel nearly as bad about driving it. Not that I cared. Yeah, I kind of cared. Actually, I had people like commenting, like, you should never park next to the shopping cart thing. Well, there's two things about that. One, generally speaking, no, I do not. And if this was like the normal everyday parking back there, sure. But I'm all the way out here at the end of the row, next to the road here. So there's not a whole lot of people parking out here. As you can see, this thing is completely empty. That cart there is my cart. But more than that, this is the biggest Kroger's in the country, they say, and I believe them. Sometimes you just don't have a choice. And so if it comes down to debating between, do I want to risk them hitting my car with a cart or a car? While I don't want either, I'll take the cart over the car. It's probably going to do less damage. Of this install. So the last video I split because it was just taking too long. So this is going to be the second part where I'm going to do basically, like, it's kind of like a two-part anyways. You know, you got to install the vacuum lines and everything under the hood, and then you got to get power inside the car. So the first video, if you didn't watch it, that was me doing all the stuff under the hood, and this video is going to be all the electrical stuff. Again, this is not a how-to per se, although if you don't know anything about doing an install, it could be helpful to you still, because I do tell you essentially what all the fuses do and everything. So I had to learn the hard way, which is partly why this video took so long, because I had to order like a little light thing to tell me. If you don't have one of those, I'll just tell you what they all are. So we're gonna go ahead and cut to the install portion now. I agree, it's very tedious. All right, I've been doing this for a month, so I figured what's one more day at this point? So it is the next day. Did disconnect the battery, and as you may have seen, I do have the fuse tap. What's your problem, man? All right, so the fuse tap didn't work. I thought I had fuses. It's not that it didn't work, but the fuses I have don't fit in it. So I ended up just putting the bare wire in the fuse for now, just to test it. And then I grounded it. We've got the illumination. The white one is for like dimming. So I'm just gonna hold off on that one for now. And basically we're just gonna see if it even works at all at this point. Plug up the battery. The fuse box is kind of hard to read, so, you know, looking at the little hieroglyphics here. So we'll see if these work. Oh, got nothing. All right. Absolutely nothing. All right, as fun as it is playing the guessing game with the fuse box, I'm gonna order a test light. I didn't even know what that was. I had to Google it. Pretty simple device. I'm gonna order that, and we're gonna pick this up tomorrow. I'm pretty much out of time for the afternoon anyways. Plus I'm getting kind of a headache. So, what's another day at this point? Couple days later now, if you don't know. This is the fuse box under the steering column. Can I help you? Enzo, seriously? I don't need licked. But, come on, watch out. Thank you. Watch out. So anyways, as I was saying, I bought one of these little tools. It's pretty simple. I'll link it below if you guys want to get one. It was like $6 or $7. You just need to clip this for a ground, so I just clipped it right there. Worked fine. And then what you want to do, I don't know how well this is going to show up. So you'll notice at the edge of each fuse, the metal kind of sticks through like right there, like on each side of the 30. That's where you want to touch to confirm whether or not you're getting power when you're reaching up here with this little screwdriver looking thing. If you touch it while the key is out and you get nothing, it means it's not getting power. If you touch it and it lights up, it means it is. So I did the entire top row in case anybody's wondering, and they were all, none of them were on right now with the key out. But if I put the key on the accessory, and we'll do one of these. It's really hard to show. See how it's lit up. Now I disconnect. So, in case anybody's wondering, all right, so this top row up here, so you can see where I have like the add a fuse above that. That entire row I've tested with the accessory on, and all of them get power except for the very last one to the far right. Not counting the massive like 30 amp one, but the smallest 7.5 to the right. It's the only one that doesn't get power right now. See nothing. Then like the one next to it lights up. So save yourself the time and hassle. Just know that the entire top row works on the accessory minus the last one. All right, got 3 new of these fuse taps. Amazon, of course. I'll link those if you guys want. We found the ignition, so that's going to be on the top row. I need to find a constant, which I actually have found already. I'll show you which one that is when we get over there. And we just need to get these going. So the top row, we determined that every single one except for the one on the far right could be used for the ignition, which is the orange wire. But on the bottom here, so you see my tap fuse. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this to focus. We have the top row, which is just above the tap fuse. The tap fuse would be the second row, and then the row below it, the third bottom row, that would be the row where you're going to find the constant. Gosh, I can't get this to focus at all. So there's no key in the ignition right now, and notice I'm getting power on this one that doesn't even have a fuse in it. So now the one thing I will say is, since mine's an RS and it's missing stuff, yours may actually have a fuse there, but mine doesn't. One of these here, so you have the empty slot, and then you have the second slot with a 15, which I'm pretty sure is off, and then the third slot with a 15 is on, so that one works as well. And then these last 2 work as well. Whether or not you have a fuse in them or not, they work. So you can use those for the red wire. Alright, so I know which one I'm using for the orange wire, which is going to be the one of the ones on the top. And I know I'm going to use one of the ones on the bottom for the red wire. The white wire, the illumination, that one needs to be with the headlights. I guess you would turn the ignition on and then see if it comes on when you turn your headlights on. I guess that's what we'll do. So find one that is off right now. I don't know. Maybe we won't use that one. All right, so You can see the 3 tap fuses. If you look at them from top to bottom, the top one is my orange wire for the illumination. The bottom one is the red for the constant power. The middle one, that's for my radar detector, so that doesn't apply here. I couldn't find one for the white illumination, so right now I've just got that one laying down here on the floor covered up. And just to get a ground real quick, I just stuck it there. And we'll see if this works. Enzo, seriously, bud. Nothing. I don't get it. I think that should work. Yeah, also, you can see all these little marks on the gauge. This thing has definitely been opened. It's really annoying me. It's making me wonder if there's something wrong with it. Now the thing's getting power. Good luck having all the pups here. Not enough good luck.
One eternity later.
So I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes doing different things, checking fuses, all sorts of crazy things, talking to friends. I'm an idiot. I didn't put the second fuse in the tap fuse. I didn't think I needed that because they had inline fuses. So I was like, well, why do I need a third fuse? But I guess the way the tap fuse works, you gotta have a fuse in there to complete the circuit, otherwise it's not sending power. Alright, so obviously I'm not going to keep my ground here, so I'm going to fix this. The only thing I've found for the illumination is to actually splice into a wire. Probably not going to do that right now. But I am going to fix this ground wire, get everything buttoned up, and then figure out where I'm going to stick this thing, which I'm not happy about, by the way. So there's obviously no way I'm just going to drill this in here. And I ordered this autometer pod thing because, I don't know, somehow I was confused. Somehow I thought you could do it without drilling, and you can't. I already don't like either of these solutions. This was meant to just be a cheap temporary option until I bought something for there. The only reason I haven't bought it yet is because they typically only sell them in 3 and I only have 1 gauge, and that's silly. But I'm not going to drill in this either. That's silly. So I guess I'm going to order that and just have 2 openings. Defi actually gives you double-sided tape as an option, which is weird. I wouldn't think they would do that. So obviously I'm going to go that route. I was just going to use my own double-sided tape, but I will use theirs instead. Just a little felt option. That's nice. I like that. I like that little touch. Yeah, that makes a huge difference too. Just FYI, double-sided tape can have its own problems as far as permanently like damaging the plastic, but this isn't going to be on here for very long, so I don't think it'll be an issue. Yeah, right in front of the tack. Pretty much useless position. Like I said, this is only going to be for a few days because I'm going to order that new gauge. It'll get it next week and clean this up. Doesn't look... Yeah, it looks terrible, but it doesn't look like the worst thing I've ever done. So yeah, we'll take it for a drive and see how it does. Full startup. Bless you. All right, so you saw the first startup. I drove just down the street. That way I'm not sitting out in the driveway messing with the GoPro, having the pups freak out, wondering what I'm doing out there. I did hit boost just barely. I just wanted to see if it moved above 0, and it did. Whether or not it's reading correctly, I have no idea. I am excited to find out if I have a boost creep issue, because I suspect I do with the intake, because I do get a little bit of a fuel cut issue. And obviously, it doesn't dim. Best I can tell from research is you gotta like tap into a wire. I haven't been able to find a fuse, and you can't tell right now, but my dash, I'm actually gonna take my dash out here in the next couple weeks, probably in the next week or two. Should have videos like every week going forward, at least for a while. So when I take that out, there'll be plenty of wires back there for me to choose from and pick one that I can splice into. I'll do a little bit more research in the meantime. But yeah, car's fully warm now, so let's see how it does. I mean, aside from the mount looking like crap, I definitely like the look of it. I mean, I've always liked the look of Defis, or Defi, or whatever you want to call them. That's why I bought it. Well, it read like 21 PSI, so that's about right for stock. Somehow it's always like 5 o'clock when I do these things. But get on the highway here, mostly so I can get on the on-ramp. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't really look that closely, but when I review the footage, I'm assuming I'll see some boost creep. It kind of looked like I was in the moment there. That would explain why I'm getting a little bit of a stutter. But overall, I like it. Which, I mean, I've driven in Evos with Defi gauges before. I knew I did like them. It was something that I think I said a while back in a video, but things like this I wouldn't have been willing to splurge on. You know, I would have just bought whatever $50, $80 boost gauge worked. You know, I mean, as long as it works kind of thing. This time around, it's like, nah, I kind of want to, I'd rather just get what I want to get. And I mean, I don't want to waste money, but spending a little bit extra here and there to get what you actually want, I think makes a difference. Plus the red matches really well. Do one more 1-2 pull, maybe. Traffic cooperates. this up back at the house. All right, so as you saw, everything's installed. It's still running. It's several days now past. Double-sided tape is holding very well. I'm not going to keep that there, obviously. Some things that have changed, though, since I made this video, or since I started making this video, is that I'm definitely leaning now more towards keeping it where it is. I want to obviously come up with something better. I don't want to do the center console because it's so much easier to see it there. I mean, I knew it was logically, but it's just unbelievable. Like, I don't feel like I really have to take my eyes off the road, which, I mean, makes sense. I mean, that's why they don't put speedometers in the middle of the car, because that would be stupid. I don't want to drill, though. I guess one alternative is I thought I could, because the steering column, if you don't know, like, it's like two pieces. It comes apart. I could just order another top part, and then that way, if I drill into that one, at least I have another one I can swap out. I don't know, I would really like something that can just like, almost like a GoPro, like how GoPro has the mounts that like mount to bike columns or bike racks. If you could have something like that mounted to like the steering rack and like came up between it or something, I don't know. You'd have to have that custom done though, so probably not gonna happen right now. You know, it's covering up part of my speedometer, or not my speedometer, my tachometer. I can see all the numbers. It covers up the middle. So really the only thing I can't see easily is whether or not I'm in tarmac, gravel, or snow. I kind of got to like turn just, I mean, it's almost visible. Had I like been a little bit better with that, probably could have made it all visible. It was meant to be temporary. So for now, it's going to stay like it is until I'm doing research constantly, try to find a different mounting solution. But for at least the next several days, probably in my life, probably a couple weeks, honestly. I'm doing the boost controller installed next. It's super nice having this gauge too, because as I've mentioned, I'm getting a little bit of boost creep, and this is so nice because I primarily get that in like 4th and 5th gear, and because I have this nice big boost gauge right front and center, I can actually see when I can control the boost basically, even without having a boost controller right now. So that's been super nice. Getting on the, like merging on the highways and stuff, where before I was always real cautious, and this, you know, boost builds super quick once you're up at those speeds in this car. So it's been real nice to be able to regulate that. And then as far as the dimming, obviously it's not doing that yet. You saw that in the video. I wasn't able to find a fuse. The only information I can find is that I may have to tap a wire then for that. My gauge cluster, if you don't know, is partially out, like the lighting. So I'm going to take that out. That's going to be not the next video, probably, because the next video is going to be the manual boost controller. The video after that is going to be me taking the dash out and replacing those bulbs. So what I'm thinking is, when I have the dash out doing that, I keep saying dash, I mean like my gauges or whatever. When I'm doing that, that should be a good time to find a wire to tap into, because they're all going to be out at that point, exposed. So that's my plan with that. So stay tuned, subscribe if you want to see that sort of stuff. If you guys have any questions about this, like I said, I know this wasn't a tutorial video. That being said, if you are installing a boost gauge and you have questions, especially if it's like a Defi or Defi, however you want to say it, you know, and you want to ask me, ask away. I'd be more than happy to help you in any way I can. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I love it so far. I'm not like a huge gauge person. I don't think, you know, no offense to you guys, but to have like 15 gauges in your car, I think that's silly. That being said, I would like to have potentially like a wideband when the time comes and I'm actually able to tune this and everything. But really what I would want is like a, I think it's Zetronics or Zetronics, I don't know how it's pronounced. That was just out of the price budget right now, so I got this. I probably will just stick with this, honestly. I don't know that I will do anything else gauge-wise other than remove these old ones until I can upgrade to something like that, because then you can cycle through all the information you need to know. Because it is nice having things like volts. You know, when my alternator was going out, that was nice to have. Oil temperatures, it's nice to have, because then you know when the car's truly up to temp, especially in colder weather, which we're coming into. You know, that stuff is handy at times. It's not a necessity, but it is nice to have it. But it's not nice enough to where I want to have like 17 gauges in my car. But if I could have something like a Zitronics or whatever that is, to where I can just cycle through stuff occasionally when I need it. That would be awesome. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and end this video. I know, like I said, the videos have been wildly inconsistent, but they should be pretty regular right now, because I pretty much just came to the conclusion I need to suck it up and just figure this stuff out. I'm going to try to do one every week, but if I start to do an install and something trips me up, it may take a little bit longer. You know, like I had to split this into 2 videos essentially because of that. But yeah, other than that, appreciate you guys as always, and I will see you guys on the next video.